Hello, everybody. Welcome back, ladies. Welcome back to Wednesday. And welcome back to our midweek momentum, the live that we run every Wednesday to make sure that we are continuing the week the way that we would like and giving us that little extra nudge, little bit of extra love in the middle of the week. Let me know how you're feeling today. For anybody that has already checked out my Facebook page or profile, Facebook, you would know that Francis is struggling a little bit. It's raining. It's been raining all day. And I laugh about it because I don't know, what else are you going to do? But it's just raining a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it was raining last weekend. So what's that? Only like 3 or 4 days ago. Oh, goodness. And it's back again. This is one of the downfalls, if it can be that, of being born and bred in Brisbane, Australia, is not used to this much rain. I don't like it when it happens. So anyway, what I would love to know though is how are you feeling this Wednesday, halfway through the week? Is there an emoji that sums it up? Are you like happy face? Are you one of the confused, blown mind faces? Are you crying? How are you feeling this week? Hello, Wendy. Wendy has been waiting a little while, an hour or so to get started to join the live. And I love that she was ready and raring to go. Wendy is in sunny England. She tells me it's sunny this morning over there, which is great because it's the exact opposite of what we've got. But no troubles waking up today. Hey, Wendy, that change in time zone for you. At least it got you here, and I'm glad about that. Heads up though, in Australia, East Coast, all of us lovely ladies will be having our time changed, or not our time, but the other people who have daylight saving, they'll have their time changed next Sunday morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't understand that. 2 a.m. in the morning next Sunday. So Wendy, you know what that means, don't you? It's probably going to change again. It's probably going to change again. So let's make sure we're aware of that when we set the time for next week's midweek momentum. Ladies, you know the drill. I start the session and babble on a little bit about the weather. Honestly, I was thinking about this before, and I was thinking if anybody had said to me in my 20s, 30s, even 40s, that I would be starting conversations based on the weather, I don't know if I would have laughed. I would have said to them, you've got to be kidding. Why would anyone do that? And hey, and then you get into your late 40s and your 50s, and it's like, yeah, the weather, it's super important, right? Because it gets a little steamy sometimes. And we understand how much it affects our mood. Anyway, you know the drill. If you're watching live with me, please let me know. Say live or say hey or hi, whatever it is, but say something in the comments so that I know that you're here. The other reason that we ask for that, I'm just full of transparency today. The other reason we ask for that is the more that comments happen, the more that the other women that are in our group that don't know there is a live happening, they'll see it come up in their feed and they will be tempted to join, because why would you not? And then, of course, the ladies who join us later and watch on a replay, do make sure you let me know that as well, because as I've said previously, this is not a 30-minute end of conversation and these topics and challenges just end as soon as I click end live. How good would it be though if things like imposter syndrome, guilt, shame, brain fog, having to constantly think about boundaries, all of those things. How good would that be if they were just like a 30-minute conversation in a week and then that's it? They didn't impact the rest of our lives. It just ended as soon as I clicked the end live video button. Anyway, we can dream. We can dream. All right. So do know that I do want the conversation to be able to keep going. I want to be able to support you throughout the week. This is just the moment that we bring these challenges and these impacts, these things that throw us a bit of a curveball during the week. This is when we spend some time really focused on it. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen the rest of the week and that we're not here to support each other through those times. So do let me know when you watch it as a replay and we can continue checking in on each other and supporting each other through the rest of the week. So for a reminder, last week we talked about owning your voice and speaking up with confidence. And I'm wondering how that went for you in the week. Are you starting to use your voice more? How are you going at setting boundaries? Are you prioritizing yourself? How are these activities and these awareness sessions going for you? Are you feeling any progress? Any, I don't like to use the word improvement, but you know what I mean. Are you feeling a difference? Or are you giving it a go and then it's like, oh no, that was really hard, or that didn't go the way I wanted, so I'm just not going to do that anymore. It's important to understand that if you are struggling a little bit, to first give yourself, a pat on the back and a round of applause and a little celebration and a well done conversation with yourself, because getting started is hard. What I'm talking to you about doing things that you have not done in a really, really long time, if ever. So yeah, make sure that you acknowledge that, okay? Have some compassion for yourself, because nobody in this room, in our bubble, in this group, we're not here to sort of say, oh, do it once and it's all going to be, so much better. Everything's going to change for the positive. It doesn't work like that. But the more we do it, the better we become and the easier it gets. And that is honestly true. Buena, hello. She's saying she's only done observations on how I react. Okay, all right. Let's have a check-in on that during the week and let's talk about that. All right. So you know that I think it's really important for us to talk about the why. And I do that because the more we understand why these things are challenging for us, it helps how we respond. Okay. And it also helps with that kindness and compassion that we should be showing ourselves. So let's talk about why you may be feeling disconnected from the things that you really want, because that's what we're talking about today. What do you really want? And how can you reconnect with those desires? Okay, because for long enough have you been misaligned? So some of these reasons why, then they're probably not really going to be a surprise to you. You're a really smart woman, and you've got lots of wisdom. You've been there, done that for a lot of things. So this won't surprise you. However, it is again important for you to understand why it's happening so you can see where you may be contributing or where there's a gap for that improvement or to change things. So, the number one reason is that you've been living for others, you've been serving or of service for others for so long. So, when you've spent years being, the caregiver, the partner, the employee, the friend, the sister, the whatever those roles, your own wants, they move to the back of the list. Sometimes they're pushed to the back burner, but it's usually just gradually by ourselves, with our own doing. Sometimes they're moved back or pushed back so far that you can't even see them anymore. And then you've been following the shoulds. This is the one. This is the one that really, really, really gets me. I find this one the most frustrating of all. And maybe that's because I feel like I have really lived by or tried to live by the shoulds. So this looks like going and doing all of the things in your life that you were supposed to do, that was expected, or at least you think it was expected of you. Marriage, career, kids, and keeping it all together. Because there really, in the past 20 or so years, has really been this push to keep everything together. And so you've been doing that. And then somewhere in that mix, you lose connection with what you wanted. And then add on top of that, the things you care about now are a bit different. Your body's definitely different, feels a bit different, a few extra niggles maybe, or sleep is different. The sweats, all of it, just different, right? So how you do things is then different. But you're still trying to be doing the shoulds and all the things, holding it all together like you were 10, 20 years ago. And then you've forgotten what it is that actually excites you, what lights you up. And so many women say to me, I don't even remember the last time I felt excited about something just for me. And I want you to know that when that comes up, especially when you say it out loud, because you're bringing it to the front, right? You're putting the spotlight on it. So when you're really at a point where you can say that out loud, that's not a selfish statement. It really is just a wake-up call. It's time. Your body and your mind and your heart are sending you all the signals. And they've got to the point that they've sent you so many signals that you've been ignoring them. It's like, boom, let's get this out of her so that she hears it herself. So I've got a question for you, of course. This is the question most women don't like to be asked, but I'm going to ask you because you're all in a nice, safe, comfortable space. When was the last time you did something purely because you wanted to, not because you had to? Now, Wendy, it might be a little bit early in the day for you to answer this one, but was it today? Have you done anything today purely because you wanted to and not because it was something you had or should do? Was it this week? Was it any time between the last midweek momentum and today? Has it been this year? I would hope, ideally, not that there's a right or wrong answer, but I hope that you can say today. I did something purely because it was what I wanted to do. So, what's the real cost to you? What's the real cost, the real impact of staying disconnected? Well, it looks like this. You feel restless, bored, numb, even though everything looks fine from the outside, fine. No one would know that you feel numb on the inside. It also looks like things when you say yes to the things that don't excite you, which then leave you too tired to do the things that do excite you. Or you're drifting through the days. Oh, it's another day. Sleep, eat, sleep, eat, repeat. Sleep, eat, work, repeat. Sleep, eat, drive the kids everywhere, repeat. Whatever it is. Instead of actually living with intention and really knowing the things that you do and being able to at the end of the day go, yeah, I did such and such and such and such and such and such, and I ticked this off of my list, and I went and did that. I feel really good. And you can have a conversation about that because you were in the moment doing those things. What I want to say here is that if you don't know what you want, how can you create a life that feels good? And so it is so important to be able to know the answer to what it is you want. So it wouldn't matter who you were working with. If you were speaking to a tax accountant, if you were going to a financial planner, if you were going to do some work with a personal trainer, nutritionist, any of those sorts of people, they're all going to want to ask you and need to ask you, what is it you want? What's the outcome? And they ask you that question not to be difficult and not just to get a blanket easy answer back, but to make sure that you get what you want. That's their job, to get you what you want in their niche, in their area of work, the reason you've gone to them. But if you don't know, how can you tell them? How can you describe it? How can you tell them how important that is to you? And therefore, how can they get it for you? How can they help you get it? You need to know. And only you can know. If only we could mind read. Hey, that would be great. So think about it in terms of your desire or the things that you want are the compass. So you know where to go, which direction, left, right, north, south, east, west. That's how you know, right? By what it is you want. So let's talk about the process. So again, today we're going to talk about 3 steps. I like to keep it pretty simple, pretty short, because obviously we're on a time frame. When you work with me, you get much more than a 3-step process. Do want you to know that. But for some quick wins for you, here are the 3 steps to help reconnect you with what it is that you want. You're going to need a journal, pen and paper to really work this stuff out. Don't go over it up here in your head the whole time, because the story gets distorted. In fact, that's exactly what it becomes, a story. It's not about what you really want. You'll start analyzing it. Write it down. So step number 1, I want you to give yourself permission to want more. It's okay to do that. It's perfectly more than okay. Wanting more doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It just means that you want more. That's it. Potentially you're growing. You're learning something new. You want to learn something new. It's a desire. It's a normal human desire. And it's okay. Say this out loud. It's okay to want more. It's okay to change my mind. It's okay to want different things than I used to want. It's okay to want more. It's okay to change my mind. It's okay to want things or want different things than what I used to. So your action here is to write down one thing you've wanted, but you've talked yourself out of. You're going to want to pause the video there if you're watching on a replay. All right, step number 2. This is where I would suggest that you start looking back to move forward. And I don't normally say that because I don't want to get us stuck back there. But sometimes the clues to what you want are actually hidden back there. So ask yourself these things. What used to get me excited as a child or a teenager? What did I always dream of doing but I never pursued? When did I feel most alive? And actually, I'm going to add something else there. When did I not follow my gut instinct? They are hidden clues and they're a great place to get started. So, with your pen and paper, write down 3 moments in your life when you felt most like you. I recently heard this question. It was more about just the most recent time, but I think it's important to think about more than just one. But when was the most recent time you felt like you? And I talk about this with you and with my clients all of the time, and yet that really got me right where it hurts because I'd realized it's actually been a while, longer than I would like to admit to. But again, we're here for full transparency. But I want you to write down 3 moments in your life. 3. When you felt most like you. You didn't feel like an imposter. You didn't feel like you were trying too hard. You didn't feel like you had to change everything. You didn't feel like you had to be a certain way. You felt like you. And the real key part, in addition to that, is what were you doing when you felt most like you? That's going to be, if we were working together, that's where we would start. Okay. Step number 3. It's about starting small, but it's about starting now. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Again, the things I hear women saying are, I think I hate my husband. I think I made a big mistake 20 years ago. I don't actually think we're right together. Really? It's a big thing. And it might be true. But there's work you can do first before you blow everything up. Same with a job or a career. There's things you can do first. So start by reconnecting with tiny sparks of joy. What would feel good this week? Would it be a walk alone, reading, dancing, creating, saying no to something that drains you? If you did look at my Facebook page today, you will know that I called out asking for help on something to have fun. I'd been super productive all morning. I wanted just some downtime and I felt fully restricted because of the weather. So I couldn't, it was really, really raining at the time. So I wasn't going to go outside barefoot and walk through the grass. I wasn't going to dance with the dog because I wouldn't have been able to get him out there anyway. All the things that I would probably normally do. And it was really, really raining. I didn't want to get in the car and go anywhere. And I had meetings later, lots of different things happening, but really just wanted something to spark a bit of fun. And so I had to put out the feelers. But I did that, and some of the ideas kind of jogged a bit of, oh, but hang on, I could do that. I hadn't thought about that. So we all need a little bit of help sometimes. But what would feel good this week? And the really interesting thing is that desire grows with attention. So the more you follow the small nudges, the louder your voice becomes. So some of the things that were suggested to me were dancing, photography, some crafty type of things. So I gave a couple of them a go. And it made me want to keep going. So after I've had dinner tonight, I've got some more things I'm going to do. So it keeps growing. Now, I may never want to do those things again after today, but that's okay because remember, I'm allowed to change my mind. All right? And so are you. So I want you to do just one thing this week because it brings you joy, not for any other reason. Not for any other reason. All right. Your challenge is, well, I've given you quite a few challenges, but here's your next one. See which one you're going to accept. In the comments, I want you to tell me what's one thing you used to love doing that you would like to reconnect with, even if it's just to see if you would like to do it again. So for the ladies on the call right now, what's one thing you used to love doing that you'd like to be reconnected with? Is it dancing? Because we tend to kind of drop off on that stuff as we get older. Is it photography? Is it colouring in? What is it for you? All right. Let's check in. Let's see if drawing. Really? Okay. Good one, Boanna. I look forward to hearing next week that you gave drawing a go again. I would love to hear about that. Let's have a look through some of the comments. Wendy's saying, okay, really good. You did really well during the week. You're feeling good about what you did. You sorted your holiday out. No guilt about other people. Yes, amazing. Did some work there with husband about sorting out some bedroom decorations. Interesting. Never want to get the husbands involved in that one. I'd end up with absolutely nothing in my bedroom if that was the case. Wendy, yes, you did. Yeah. Wendy used to do a lot of sewing and dressmaking, things like that. And so she's saying making her own clothes is something she'd like to be reconnected with. So will you be getting out the sewing machine? Interesting. Or maybe you don't even need to make it yourself. I guess it depends on the part of the making your own clothes that you enjoyed. Was it the designing? Was it the altering, the tinkering, the choosing the fabric, or is it the actual making? And so this reconnecting with it will start to find out which piece of that. Okay, so there's a focus for the week ahead. Excellent. Thanks for playing along, ladies who are with me. I really appreciate that. So as we close out, the main thing for you to take away is that you're not lost, okay? I know it feels that way, but you're not. You're still in here. It's just that you need to reconnect with a part of yourself that's been waiting really patiently for you. It's been trying to give you a few little nudges. You've not heard them or noticed them, and that's okay. She's there, she's waiting for you. She'll get louder if she hasn't already, but she's there and she's waiting and she just wants you to reconnect with her. So you're not lost. You just need to do a little bit of homework, a little bit of action taking, a little bit of trying to say hello to her again and reconnect. All right, we're waking up now. We're in this beautiful stage of life where we get to wake up and we get to say no to the shoulds. We actually do get to say no. We just have to choose to do it. So, thank you again for spending your Wednesday 30 minutes with me and our midweek momentum. I always enjoy our conversations and I love hearing from you in the comments. So make sure that you take away the tips and the actions. You've spoken them out loud. Now it's time to take action. All right. Don't forget, as always, tag a friend who needs this message or invite them into the group. And we will share this live with them. We'll share the replay. Think about this as we end off the session. Desire is the spark. Permission is the fuel. Joy is the guide. And with all of that, you can find your fire again. Okay. Thanks, ladies. Have a beautiful rest of the week. And I will see you all next week.